Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you about a big change that we're making in our homeschool this year. We've made it through our summer schooling. We're now on a 2-week-long break where he gets to relax and do nothing for 2 weeks, and then we will start up school for the fall. And we have completely changed how we're going to do fall studies, which means my whole plan that I had laid out for the entire year changed up. There are a couple things that remain the same and I can keep in my planner, but I had to invest in an ungodly amount of whiteout for my planner. It's a horrible, horrible thing. If you'd like to figure out what our big change was, stick around. Okay, now if you watched our last video, you saw that I had the entire year planned out and had lots of ambitious plans. However, I have been looking for other homeschool mom friends, and I've met up with several because I live in a large city area, metroplex, and there's plenty of people around me. But what I find is, of course, everybody's doing their own thing, right? Of course. There's a million choices out there. Everybody's got their own way of doing it and flavor, which is awesome, totally awesome. But man, I would really like to find some people who do the same thing I do so that we can collaborate and share ideas and that, build upon each other's experience and whatnot. So, another thing I had been looking into prior to making my whole plan was classical conversations. And I looked into it briefly, and if you've been around on my channel, you know that I work full time. And so my first instinct as I started looking into it, I was like, I just don't know how I can make that work with having to do community day all day, and I have to attend with them, because if you know anything about classical conversations, or CC, they have one day a week where it's community day, and depending on the age of your child, you could be there half a day or a whole day. All the children up to the age of 12 do the morning session in foundations, and then when they hit 9, they add 2, and they start doing essentials, which is intensive literature, or not literature, English, grammar, all that kind of stuff. And that's in the afternoon. So I would be looking at, because my child is 10, he would be basically there all day, and I have to attend with him to learn the curriculum as well. So I immediately dismissed it. Well, maybe not immediately, but I played with it and I just couldn't figure out how I would make that work. But it was still in the back of my head, and I really loved all the things that they add to, or they have in their curriculum. And one of those things was IEW. And if you're not familiar with IEW, it is the Institute for Excellence in Writing. Yes. And we picked up structure and style for students. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do CC, but I really like what they have in it, so I'm going to do it on my own. So I picked this up and we started it this summer. It has been going so great, y'all. Now, I do have to work quite hard to get my son to do what he's supposed to do. He doesn't really like it, as far as writing in general. But compared to other writing programs that we've done in the past, this was light years ahead in being doable for him. He's the kind of kid that would shut down if you gave him a blank piece of paper and said, write something on this topic. He'd be like, I don't know what to write. He just couldn't come up with something to write. So IEW's approach gives them a source text to start from, and then they create an outline, and then from their outline, they rewrite the paragraph or the writing assignment in their own words, just using the words that was originally in the source text. The only words in the original source text are in their outline. So it basically comes out the same, but they're writing it their own way. And he's been doing really well. I'm just so pleased, and I have high hopes for the future. We've been doing it 8 weeks now. That was our summer school period, and he's been doing really well. The other thing that I incorporated in this is that I stole from CC is that they do weekly presentations to learn how to speak in front of people and be comfortable with that. And in CC, they talk about whatever they want. They can talk on a subject they learned or that they wrote about, or they can just bring show and tell and talk, or talk about summer vacation or whatever they want to talk about. So I wanted to incorporate that into our learning. So this summer, I also implemented that aspect where I would have him prepare his writing that he did in structure and style, and he would read that via Zoom to his grandmas. So I invited them both. They're not real local. They're both in Texas, but they're not real close. But I invited them to a Zoom meeting every week on Fridays. And when he was done with this writing assignment, he would basically present it to them. So number one, it was incentive to get his writing done because he knew he didn't want to let his grandmas down because they were so excited to hear from him. And so he had to get it done. And then also he had to present, and we made it work with Zoom. So that was really great. So I just kept thinking, this CC just kept coming back in my mind. I was like, I really want to do it. I'm a YouTube junkie on all things homeschool and planners and all that kind of stuff. And so I kept seeing stuff coming up in my feed, and I was like, wow, I really wish I could do that. And I thought, who says I have to do it all? What if I just did the English part? Or what if I just did the fundamental part, which is the morning memory work? So my first angle was, let's just do the essentials English part. Essentials is an afternoon thing. He could go early and have lunch with the kids and socialize and get that whole aspect of the community day, and then stay for the essentials class, which is the English intensive portion or class. And I could make that work every week by just missing a portion of a day from work and schedule critical work meetings around that time that I was going to be busy. So I decided on that, and I contacted CC, and I was like, yeah, I want to, talk to somebody. And they had their summer practicum coming up. So I went to that just to learn more. I hadn't committed, but I was like, I want to see if this is doable. Can I do this? And so that was pretty good. It wasn't all that I had imagined, but, they can't teach you everything in one afternoon. I think it was from 9 to 3 or something like that. But the key thing was I got to meet people that would be in the community that I was thinking of joining. And that was awesome. And turned out that I knew somebody from 20 years ago. Oh my God, that was a trip. I met an old friend, and we had not been in touch in, at least 15 years, if not more. She would be in the class if I joined essentials for this community. And so that, that just kind of sealed the deal. I knew the people, I got to meet them, and I was like, yeah, okay, I can commit to this. The other option that I had, if I wanted to do the whole thing, was there's another community, and they actually are meeting in the same location. Now, they're two different communities because they have two different directors. The other community was meeting at a different location, and that they lost their spot somehow, like the church was overcommitted or wherever they were meeting was no longer available. they were looking for somewhere else to meet, and they decided they meet on a different day than this community does. So the two communities could share the same location, they're just on different days. So now I'm thinking, wow, cool. I could go to two different communities on different days. I could go one and do the morning and one and do the afternoon. And I think I can swing that with work. I can schedule my meetings around those two time periods. That's not like a whole day being out. So I thought about it some more. I met and talked with people in the community and said, what the heck? Let's give it a shot. It is pricey, so I would lose out on the money that I paid for tuition if it doesn't work out, but that's okay with me. I'm willing to spend the money and give it a try and see if we can make this work. I really like the subject matter that they're learning and the way it's presented, the classical model. It would not be all worksheet based, which is what he's doing today, which he's okay with, but I feel like it's getting really monotonous, and he's pushing back a lot on, do I have to do this? Not another week. How about I skip this? And I'm like, so I decided we would give it a try, and we are going to try it this summer. This fall. So we're going to start in August, and we're going to continue to do some of the things that I already had laid out. So those things are, we're already doing IEW, and IEW is part of Essentials in CC. So we will just continue to do that. Of course, we'll start over in the fall, a new course. So we won't actually finish the whole course of this. We did 8 weeks of it, of this program. However, Essentials is only 24 weeks, or CC is only 24 weeks out of the year. So there are weeks off from classical conversations where we would be filling in with our own things. So we'll just go back to this and do the lessons in here during those breaks. And I think it works. That's not going to be a waste. It's just going to be, it's just going to take us longer to get through it. But the other thing is we're going to continue doing Fix-It Grammar. This is also IEW. I went through it in my last video. Let me see if I can find an example. So this is editing. So you can see right here, this is the teacher manual. So it has an marked up for you, but they have one sentence a day. They mark different parts of speech. They choose some words, like in this case, they have three different homonyms for two, and they have to pick one. They have bolded words, which are vocabulary words, so he writes vocabulary. So we're going to continue to do this in addition to the essentials and foundation, because this really only takes them, with the vocabulary word, it might take him 20 minutes, if not less, because the sentence in here is really nothing. He has to rewrite the sentence in a notebook, and that's pretty fast. And then the other thing that we've been doing during the summer that we're going to keep doing is Kinetic Zoo. And these are the lesson cards. It comes with these lesson cards, and then it comes with trading card size cards that have the lessons on them. And so let me just show you one. So this is lesson 1. It shows some example words, and on the back, it has a rule for the lesson. That word is going to stay the same. History and science are changing up. I am doing, my original plan was American history, and I was going to do America's Story by Master Books. And I had the textbook and the workbook, and the workbook is all worksheets for it. With CC, it is world history focused, and they do cycles, which are a series of time periods over a period of 3 years. So you do a certain time period of study in in 1 year, and then the next year you do another time period, and the next year you do another time period, and then they start over. So this year, everyone in CC is doing cycle 1. So they're starting with ancient history. We really needed to scrap our history. So I was able to sell my books online to another homeschooling mom, and I got the World Story from Master Books, and I did not get the worksheets. I just got the book that we can read stories in, and this is not so much story-based. It is a little, it does have some stories, but a lot of it is nonfiction information about the time period. And so I got this, and then I got several supplementary history reference books that I can use to supplement CC, because in CC, the history is memorization of events. And so they do a timeline of events, and every week you have 6 or 7 like key events that you have to memorize and what time period it is. There's not the background on those. It's just memorization of the event or the people or, geography, the location. So I got some supplementary books to give him some of that backstory. Now, if you had a little one starting in foundations, you probably wouldn't want to do all that. But since he's in 5th grade, he needs to know more than just the name. So I got from CC the Ancient World Echoes, and this is stories from the time period and peoples that we're covering in history. And so that will give us some background. And then I also got some great Usborne books. And so I got the Encyclopedia of World History. And it has internet links in it. So you can be reading about something and then go online and read more about it. So I've got this. And we will just pick out the topics that we want information about. So I got that, and I also got this Usborne Beginnings, a Beginner's History library. Now, I will say it is beginners. It is, for my 5th grader, it is quite a lower level of reading, but that's okay. It's pictures, some kind of educational entertainment about the subject matter that we're going to cover. And then I also got this Timelines of World History from Usborne. And this is going to be, again, more reference and pretty pictures of the subject matter that we're memorizing. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a different approach than I had planned, and not so much worksheet based. So that's history. Then we've got geography, goes along with history. It's memorizing the map and locations on the map. And so every week we have a new location to learn about. And so we're learning history about it, time period, and geography. And so this is a CC geography trivium tables. This is fun because it's laminated. I can use wet erase or dry erase markers and have them circle or trace or whatever. And so that's going to be helpful. For math, he's going to continue doing the same math, which is Math UC. He is currently on Epsilon. And then when he finishes that, he will be going into Zeta. Science, we are going to do Master Books Life. And I'm going to continue doing the worksheets and the textbook for this one. So this is the teacher guide, which is the worksheets. So he will have worksheets in this. Typing, art, and handwriting. we are going to alternate. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, he's either going to do art, and we're going to do the same thing I had planned, which was living art lessons by Master Books. This is the textbook, and then this is the workbook, art journal. And so we're either going to do a page of this, or a exercise in typing, or some pages in handwriting. And that'll just be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And that's all that we will be doing of those subjects, just one day a week. One other thing I'm going to be working in is some health. He's 10, he's having to, use deodorant and wash more and, those kinds of things. And so we're going to go over, all the questions and answers of puberty. The other thing I had planned is also to do our Bible curriculum. We do have a Bible element in CC where he'll have something to memorize, but I wanted more of a devotional type thing. So we're actually going to do elementary apologetics, which I had planned for Master Books, and that is answers for kids and the worksheets that go with it. So I am really excited about the change because I am changing up the style. I wasn't really teaching before. I mean, I'm not surprised at that. I mean, I'm not a teacher. I am a mom. But he was being basically worksheet based for all of his curriculum. And we were reading together, but not really, doing a whole lot. And of course, I would help him with his English or his math. But now I feel like there's more interaction between us with the CC curriculum because it's memory based. And what I mean by that is a lot of the memory work comes in the form of song and hand motions, as well as written and visual cues. So we'll be writing them. I got us a whiteboard, which I'll show you in a walkthrough in a minute. And I got some really great fluffy pillows to put on the floor so we can sit next to our library and we can read our history books and we can write on the whiteboard and just kind of have this little school nook for doing some interactive learning. And then he'll have time to do his set worksheets and his writing. And so once he's, we can break up the day and say, okay, this is your independent time. And then we'll have what I'm calling lunch and literature, because I feel like lunchtime is the best time for us in our day to spend time together. And so he's independent doing his worksheets and I'm helping him. And then at lunch, we sit down on the floor on our big fluffy pillows and we read stories and history. We go over what's coming up in science. We'll work on our memory work review and write stuff on the whiteboard. So that is my update on what we're doing and how we're doing. He's doing really great at spelling. I talked a little bit about the Kinetic Zoo. I am really pleased with it. He is doing great. I am really thrilled with his progress. So I was a little nervous, but hopeful, and it worked out great. We're doing super. So I'm looking forward to the new challenge in CC and starting a new adventure with a group of friends where we're all doing the same curriculum and having the same challenges so we can learn from each other. And Riker will have a chance to meet friends and socialize. And I'm really, really excited about it. So thanks for spending some time with me, listening to me gab about homeschool. I hope maybe you saw some stuff that was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below, and I would love to interact with you. And I am redoing my teacher planner. So if you love planning and want to see how I'm redoing it because so much has changed, subscribe to my channel so that you can get notified when my next video comes out. Thanks a lot for spending time with me. I hope you have a blessed day.